Imagine discovering a ship drifting across the vast, empty expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. The sails are torn, yet they still catch the wind. The vessel moves with an eerie, aimless grace. It is a lonely silhouette against the endless blue. There are no signs of life on its decks. No sailors are seen climbing the rigging or steering the helm. The ship appears to be sailing itself, a phantom vessel on a journey to nowhere. Its presence on the water is a question mark, a silent story waiting to be told. The ocean whispers around its hull, but it offers no answers to the mystery it presents. The year is 1872. The ship is the Mary Celeste. It floats alone, thousands of miles from its intended destination. The crew of a passing vessel, the Dei Gratia, spots it. They call out, but only the wind and waves reply. A sense of unease settles over them. A ship without a crew is a dreaded sight for any sailor. It speaks of disaster, of tragedy, of stories that end badly. Yet they are drawn closer by a sense of duty and a growing morbid curiosity. What could have happened here in the middle of this unforgiving ocean? The Mary Celeste holds its secrets tightly. The captain of the Dei Gratia decides to investigate. He sends a small boarding party to the silent ship. As they row closer, the silence becomes heavier, more profound. The ship is in surprisingly good condition. It is not a wreck. It has not been ravaged by a storm. It sits perfectly on the water, almost as if it is waiting for its crew to return at any moment. This only deepens the mystery. A shipwreck tells its own story of destruction, but this was something else entirely. Something far more unsettling for the sailors who were about to step aboard. As the boarding party climbs onto the deck of the Mary Celeste, an unnerving stillness greets them. The ship is quiet, too quiet. There is no sound of a crew's chatter, no clang of tools, no orders being shouted. The only sound is the gentle creaking of the ship's timbers and the lapping of the waves against its hull. The scene is perfectly preserved, a snapshot of a moment frozen in time. But something is profoundly wrong. The lifeblood of the ship, its people, are gone, and their absence screams louder than any storm could ever roar across the open sea. The men from the Dei Gratia cautiously explored the abandoned vessel. What they found only added to the baffling enigma. Below deck, the ship's cargo was completely untouched. More than 1,700 barrels of crude industrial alcohol, destined for Genoa, Italy, were securely stored in the hold. If pirates had attacked, they surely would have plundered such a valuable prize. Yet everything was in its proper place. The cargo was safe, the ship was sound, and the journey seemed to have been interrupted for no apparent reason. The clues were everywhere, but they made no sense together. In the ship's galley, the scene was even more surreal. Food was found on the table as if the crew had been interrupted mid-meal. A small sewing basket sat open, a piece of child's clothing still inside, with a needle resting in the fabric. Personal belongings remained exactly where they had been left. In the captain's cabin, his logbook was open on the desk. The last entry was dated 10 days prior, noting the ship's position and nothing out of the ordinary. It was as if every single person on board had simply stood up and walked away into thin air, leaving their lives behind. But there were a few strange details. The ship's only lifeboat was missing. This suggested the crew had abandoned the ship deliberately. But why? The Mary Celeste was perfectly seaworthy. Why would an experienced captain and crew leave a perfectly good ship to take their chances in a small, open boat in the middle of the vast Atlantic? It was an act of desperation, but there was no sign of what could have caused such a panic. There were no signs of a fire, no evidence of a struggle, and no indication of a catastrophic storm. The ship was a paradox. The mystery of the Mary Celeste begins here, on its silent, empty decks. It is a true story that has puzzled historians, sailors, and investigators for over a century. A ship found in good order, with its cargo intact yet utterly deserted. Every single person on board, Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife Sarah, their 2-year-old daughter Sophia, and the 7 experienced crewmen, had vanished without a trace. This is not a work of fiction. This is the true unsolved mystery of the ghost ship, the Mary Celeste, and the 10 souls who disappeared from the face of the earth. Before she was the Mary Celeste, she was the Amazon, born in 1861 in Nova Scotia. Her early years were plagued by misfortune. A captain lost, collisions and storms. Abandoned as a wreck, she was salvaged and given a new life in New York. Her legend was just beginning. Once in New York, the battered ship was refitted, renamed Mary Celeste, and given a new American registry. Her owners hoped to erase her troubled past, but whispers of bad luck lingered. The Mary Celeste sailed on, her new name destined to become legend. In autumn 1872, the Mary Celeste was readied at New York's East River for a voyage to Genoa, Italy. Captain Briggs, his wife and daughter joined the crew, loading barrels of alcohol for the journey. On November 7th, she sailed into the Atlantic, no one knowing they were witnessing the start of a maritime mystery. Captain Benjamin Spooner Briggs was a respected, experienced seafarer, devout, disciplined, and trusted by all. He invested his life and savings into the Mary Celeste, even bringing his wife and young daughter aboard. Their presence spoke to his confidence in the voyage, turning the ship into a vessel of hope and family dreams. Captain Benjamin Briggs hand-picked a skilled crew for the Mary Celeste's voyage to Genoa. Among them were first mate Albert Richardson, 4 German sailors, a Danish seaman, and the ship's cook. With his family aboard and a trusted crew, Briggs felt secure as they set sail from New York. Their ordinary journey would soon become one of history's greatest mysteries. On a crisp autumn morning in 1872, the Mary Celeste was ready to depart New York. Captain Briggs, his family and crew prepared for their journey to Italy. With the morning tide, the order was given to cast off. The Mary Celeste was towed out of the bustling harbour. Her sails caught the November wind as she headed for open sea. As America faded from view, they sailed into the unknown, toward a mystery that endures to this day. Deep in the Mary Celeste's hold were 1,701 barrels of industrial alcohol, dangerous, volatile, and stored in porous red oak barrels. Heat could cause leaks and flammable fumes, turning the hold into a potential powder keg. Captain Briggs knew the risks. No open flames, strict safety, but the cargo's threat was always present, a silent danger beneath the deck. The Mary Celeste sailed steadily into the unpredictable Atlantic, her crew facing storms and uncertainty. On November 25th, Captain Briggs made his final routine log entry near the Azores. Days later, the ship was found abandoned, seaworthy, but empty. What happened in those silent days remains one of the ocean's greatest mysteries. Ten days after Captain Briggs's last log, the British brigantine Dei Gratia crossed the Atlantic. Captain David Morehouse, who knew Briggs personally, spotted a ship drifting erratically, its sails tattered, no one at the helm. As they drew closer, Morehouse recognized the Mary Celeste, which should have been far ahead on its way to Italy. The ship was eerily intact, but unmanned, moving like a ghost across the waves. Morehouse hailed her. No answer. For 2 hours, he watched. No crew, no movement, just the wind and the flapping sails. The Mary Celeste was not wrecked or sinking, but abandoned. With growing dread, Morehouse ordered his first mate, Oliver Devoe, and 2 men to board the mysterious vessel. The law of the sea demanded action, but every sailor's nightmare was unfolding before their eyes. The truth behind the Mary Celeste's silent drift was about to be uncovered. Devoe and his men rowed through choppy waters, the Mary Celeste looming silent and empty. Climbing aboard, they found the deck wet but not flooded, sails damaged, helm spinning freely and the compass broken. No signs of struggle or piracy. Cargo and personal belongings were untouched. The only lifeboat was missing, its davits empty, a deliberate evacuation. Below deck, everything was left as if the crew intended to return. Clothes, money, even pipes. The ship's pumps worked, and the valuable cargo was intact. The mystery deepened. Why abandon a seaworthy ship in the open Atlantic? The men searched for clues, but found only silence and absence. The Mary Celeste was a ghost ship. Her crew vanished without a trace. The boarding party returned to report their chilling discovery. Below deck, the mystery grew stranger. The galley was stocked, the stove cold, and 6 months' provisions remained. In the captain's cabin, personal items were left mid-use: a sewing basket, a child's clothing, a melodeon. The last log entry was routine, dated 10 days earlier. Navigational tools and ship's papers were missing, suggesting a planned evacuation. In the hold, 3.5 feet of water, normal for a wooden ship, while 9 barrels of alcohol, made of porous red oak, were empty. Had fumes sparked panic? The theory took shape. The Mary Celeste was sound, her cargo mostly intact, but her people were gone. The Dei Gratia crew had found not a wreck, but a chilling enigma. The fate of the Mary Celeste's crew was now a legend in the making. The Dei Gratia brought the Mary Celeste to Gibraltar, where the Vice Admiralty Court launched a salvage inquiry. Attorney General Frederick Solly Flood suspected foul play, accusing the Dei Gratia crew of murder for profit. Months of hostile interrogation and forensic searches followed. Bloodstains and a sword were examined, but evidence was lacking. The so-called blood was not blood, the sword was rusted, and Captain Briggs was a teetotaler. No proof of mutiny or violence emerged. The crew's reputation suffered, and their salvage reward was meager. The court found no crime, just an abandoned, seaworthy ship and a missing crew. The official verdict: the mystery remained unsolved. The Mary Celeste's fate was as baffling as ever. The inquiry ended, but the legend had only grown. The sea had kept its secret. With foul play dismissed, natural explanations took center stage. Some believed a waterspout or rogue wave struck, flooding the decks and sparking panic. Perhaps the crew feared the ship was sinking and abandoned her for the lifeboat, only to be lost at sea. A broken chronometer could have led to navigational errors, making Briggs think they were near land when they were far from safety. An undersea earthquake, a seaquake, might have shaken the ship violently, convincing the captain it was breaking apart. The missing lifeboat and navigational tools suggest a planned, not panicked evacuation. Each theory fits some facts, but none explain everything. The Mary Celeste remains a riddle, a sound ship, vanished crew, and no definitive answer. The Atlantic's power and mystery endure. The legend of the Mary Celeste lives on. Theories of human intervention remain central to the Mary Celeste mystery. Some believe leaking alcohol barrels caused panic and evacuation, while others suggest mutiny or accidental poisoning. Yet no evidence supports any theory. The fate of the crew and their ship remains one of history's most enduring maritime enigmas. More than 150 years have passed since the Mary Celeste was found sailing alone, a silent vessel on an empty ocean. Its mystery endures, captivating imaginations and inspiring countless theories. The empty ship, untouched cargo, and missing lifeboat only deepen the enigma. The Mary Celeste sails on, a timeless ghost ship forever haunting the seas.